Hey YouTube, it's your boy Widgie here, coming at you with some more strategy games with Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. And today, the public have spoken and they said that they want to see some Aztec stuff. So I put a poll in a few days ago with three options. One was Aztec, the other Portuguese, and the final was the Russians. And sort of about 40%, maybe 50 or 60%, my percentage calculation is really bad, but whatever, the majority said Aztecs. So that is exactly what we're going to do today, and I've got a fresh 1v1 replay run through of an Aztec game where I am playing against a French opponent. So I hope you guys really enjoy it. You guys know what to do to support the channel. If you enjoyed this video and many others on my channel, please feel free to drop a like, and also you can catch me streaming on Twitch at Widgie1. Let's do this. Right guys, we are here, so without further ado, let's hit that play button. And away we go. So I will be showing you the deck once I have selected. But the sort of strat that I went here, which is one that I'm sort of debating about whether to use more, is the double war hut sort of aggression / contain, which is what I do in this game here. So I'll be showing you this sort of build order that I'm doing. But there are many others that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the warrior priest boom. I'm looking at the sort of semi-FF style. But, you know, once again, Aztec, they're a very, very versatile civ, and you can do a lot with them, especially when you have water as an option as well. But as you can see here, first thing I'm doing is I'm building down a community center, and I'm going to build a house and a market. You do get 300 wood as a startup, and basically it's 100 for each building, which is nice. And I'm going to start using my explorer. Now this explorer is nowhere near as powerful as like the Chinese explorer, and you can lose him quite easily. So what I suggest is, as I'm going around here, is see if you can find any treasures that have natives or any humans, any humanoids basically. And then what you can do is you can use your ability to convert them and join them, make them join your team, and then you can use that to take down bigger treasures and stuff like that, which can be quite nice. So here you go, I'm dropping the GLHF. And we're going through it. So this is not going to be a build order guide or anything like that, because this is, I'm still testing Aztec a little bit before I obviously go on stream and start playing them a bit more competitively. But I did try this build order offline a couple of times just against AI, and then I decided to take it out and try it against a human being. And that human being is Amazing Horse, and he's playing French, which is just fantastic, isn't it? So I'm probably going to expect some cav from him, potentially maybe a fast fortress, which the French like to do, or a semi-FF style. But what we're going to be doing with the community center, putting that on the XP, because that's pretty much where it stays. You can see I'm converting another unit there. So now I've got three units at my disposal, and I'm getting the 3 villager, and this is my deck right here. So you've probably seen this deck quite a lot. This deck, I think I grabbed this from Aussie Drongo's Discord, so I do use pretty much all of his decks, and I sort of tweak them and change them depending on what I want to do. But I believe this is from his server. So this is a good 1v1 land deck. You've got to make sure in Age 2 you've got double wood shipment and quite a few unit cards, because pretty much your coyotes and your slingers are going to cost you food and wood, and your spearmen are going to cost you food and gold. But most of the time you won't be mining for gold. You'll just get the 600 gold shipment if you do want to use spearmen. And you'll also use that 600 gold shipment if you want to age up as well, because it is an unlimited gold shipment, which is quite nice. And I suggest having that in your deck. So you can see here, all I'm doing is I'm just herding right now. Just taking down hunts. And I don't think I actually looked at my opponent's deck once, which was kind of a little bit silly. So as I say, I always recommend you guys check out your opponent's deck once you've got everything in order. Usually around the 3 or 4 minute mark, you want to just check his deck and see what he's going to do, because most of the time, you know, civs will age up between 4 and 5 minutes. So you kind of want to know, have a rough idea of what you think they're going to be doing with their cards. I think I can look at my opponent's cards here, maybe. Okay, maybe not. Oh, yeah, there we go. So his deck's called Land, nice and easy. And, okay, yeah, looks sort of like a standard sort of French deck. The Wilderness Warfare is one that you can put in, and the Spice Trade. So it doesn't look anything too crazy. He looks very sort of standard. So back to me. So we got to realise is with Aztec, especially with the community centre, you're going to be getting that XP trickle in quite a bit, and you can see that we're getting an extra XP point per second because we've got our warrior priest walking round. And as you are going to be building more buildings, that gets you further XP as well. So you've really got to keep on top of your shipments. You've got to make sure that you're constantly using your shipments. That's what I found anyway. This Civ does sort of, after about the 6 or 7 minute mark, it gets kind of crazy. So I saw that his wolves were coming back here, so I knew that his explorer was around and he was going to try and be a bit cheeky here, as you can see, coming out here, and he's like, oh, no, can't get that. And I thought with all of my units, I may as well track him down and see if I can take down the explorer, which is what I do here. He stupidly decides to attack me, which is a bad move. What I suggest, I mean, as I say, I'm sort of saying this as if it's a guide. I shouldn't be saying this as if it's a guide because it's not. It's just an analysis of what I'm doing and the decisions that I'm making and just commentating it, basically casting my own game. But I am going for the hunting dogs there because I like to make sure that I get enough food, because food is a bit of a problem, I found, when I'm just playing this Civ. When you're having to get a lot of troops out, you're still having to maintain villager production, and it can be kind of difficult trying to do all of it. So usually the double wood shipment, which we're going to do, and the minute we age up here, is something that we're going to go for. Now, the politician that I went for was the one where you get a free war hut, or you get a free travois that you can use to build into a war hut. Now, this is kind of unusual because a lot of people will say you always want to go for the fast age up. Like, the fast age up is always the best thing to do. It depends. If you're doing an extremely early rush, then of course you want to go for the fast age up. I've seen people, when I've been playing against Aztec, do the classic Skull Knight rush, where you get 2 Skull Knights on your age up, and they have a high amount of siege, and then you can get spearmen with that, and then some slingers or whatever, and then you can basically siege a ton of buildings. That's a viable strat. This one I wanted to make sure it was a bit more robust, because if I did fail my rush, I want to make sure that I've still got a bit of economy to fall back on, and that's exactly what I did here. So this sort of reminds me of a bit like Russia as well, this style of play here. Building the forward base, getting your wood shipments. It's very Russia-esque if you have played Russia, where you do your classic Strelets sort of stuff. But as you can see here, I built 2 war huts, and the thing that you got to bear in mind is not to get pop capped. I think I got pop capped multiple times, so I definitely need to learn Aztec a lot more and get more experience playing them. But this is just one of the first games that I've been playing against an actual human being in the last few months. The last time I played Aztec was on my learning to play Aztec, which was months and months ago, and I haven't played them really since then. So you can see here I'm building three houses to cover myself, because the slingers are going to be coming out shortly. So the order that I'm doing this in is I went 700, 600, and then I went for the 9 slingers, and then the 8 slingers. I'm going to probably go after that, and then I believe I then go the 3 warrior priests. Now you can chop and change depending on what your opponent's doing. I probably should have gone for 6 spearmen rather than 8 slingers. I probably should have gone some spearmen because it's French, so I'm probably going to anticipate some cav. So I am doing a little bit of scouting here. It's a little bit late, but I can see that he's got a stables and a barracks. So I assume that he's probably going to play age 2 if he's put both military buildings down. And you can see there I've got my... I stupidly didn't... See, what you should do there, when you get a shipment, you should make it garrison out of your war hut rather than out of your TC. So that was a mistake that I did there. Anyway, building some even more houses down. I've got tons of houses coming down because you're going to have about 40 or 50 military units at some point. And you can see I'm training up coyote runners here. I just need food, and that's why I'm macroing okay here. I've got everybody on food to try and get as many coyote runners as I can. So there's some more. So quite a substantial amount now. And now I'm deciding to push. I'm pushing quite early here. Normally I mean, the guide that I've been looking at is Garger's guide. I mean, it's quite old. It's about 4 or 5 years old, this guide. I know there have been a few changes to Aztec, but I think this is still sort of viable. It says that you should really push out when you've got about 40 troops, 40 military troops. And you can see I've only got about 29 here, so I am a little low. And I'm doing quite a good trade here because I am using the coyote runners to take down the hussar. And I'm using the slingers here to take down these guys. And he is obviously focusing my main guy here, the war chief. I think he does give a... I don't know what buff he gives, actually. I need to have a look at what buff he gives. I'm not entirely sure. Also, a big thing about Aztec that I'm finding really difficult is the community center management. So being able to switch, and you can see here I've switched to give my units damage of 2%. Honestly, I don't think that's worth it. I think when you get your 3 warrior priests and you have 4 warrior priests, I think definitely then switching it to damage is probably better. But you can see my next shipment is going to be the 8 slingers, and then I'm going to bring some eco behind it with my warrior priest shipment. And at this point, I didn't really know what to do, whether to try and take down villagers, because I don't really have any siege here. This is the downside. I've got no units that can offer good siege, and I get a little bit worried here because he's timed this quite well. He's obviously popped his militia. Or his Minutemen, and I've got some more units that I'm going to bring over. I mean, this isn't going amazing here, this trade. You've got to bear in mind, slingers are really cheap. You know, they are really, really low HP. And he did get he got a crossbow shipment here. And luckily, I've got a few coyotes here still to try and deal with his crossbowmen. What I would say is try and micro your war chief. Don't try and lose him. I just threw him away there, and I think the war chief is pretty good. So don't try and lose him. Anyway, you can see I'm just still making sure to pump out units. You know, maintaining my eco. My macro is okay-ish. Probably should have a few more people on wood. But I've got a ton more slingers coming in now because of these shipments. And this is what I'm saying, you know, just make sure that you're not getting pop capped and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, this is just me. As I say, I'm not even going to promote this as a guide because there's still a ton of things I need to learn and tweak and stuff like that. And then I'll be able to give you guys more of an idea. But this is quite bad here. He's got 3 hussars. I've only got slingers now. So, I mean, it takes ages for me to get those cav down. And luckily, I've got some coyote runners coming in to help. And I stupidly got my 3 warrior priests to come out of the war hut there, which was a bad thing to do. And I've got some coyote runners here to try and help me take down that cav unit. But the French, very, very scary. If we just pause just very briefly and we just have a look at the French situation, you know, he's nowhere near ready to age up. He hasn't even got any gold shipments yet. He's just got some unit shipments to try and deal with the rush, which is a fair thing to do. If I was him, I'd probably have more on gold because I'd want to try and get some more cav out if I can. But it's not looking the best for him at the moment. If we just press play. See, the coyote runners aren't too bad to get them involved with the musks, you know, because they do prevent the musk from firing, and they're a good sort of unit just to charge straight in, and your slingers can then pick them up. And this is where I just try and, I mean, they're so tanky, the couriers, the courier de bois, the CDBs. The slingers are going to take ages to kill them. But you can see I've got a few idle issues here. Look, my resources are really bad. I've taken my eye off the ball, and that's something that I just really urge you guys to try and always think about, is what is going on at my base. If I'm attacking and I'm rushing, you can see I've taken a few more courier de bois out, and all I'm doing here is just stopping him from coming out and getting resources. That's all you've got to do. You don't have to actively try and take his TC down or stay around his base. Just stop him from constantly getting his villagers out. Just deny him from getting villagers out, and he won't be able to do anything. You know, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm checking to see if he's got any more villagers that he's somehow slinked around, and I've got more coyote runners coming in here, and I've got puma spearmen queued up as well. I've got 5 villagers queued up coming out of the TC, and there is the GG from Amazing Horse, and it's as easy as that. Well, I say easy, that was challenging. I thought I was going to lose that rush, but there is sort of a classic double war hut rush. I would call it a double war hut rush, right? Or double war hut contain. Quite nice. Would I call it a rush? Maybe. It's not a super early rush, but it is a substantial amount of troops. And if we just look at the map here and we go over to Amazing Horse, he did have a few sneaky courier de bois here, getting some food, which I didn't spot, and he had some here, and I did a little scout around and missed those. So he still had some income, but it wasn't enough, and I would have just started to take his houses out because I don't have the siege yet, and I was making some spearmen. They were going to come out of the from the home city shipment, the 6 spearmen. They would have helped, and then maybe would have probably next gone for the 600 gold, and then thought about potentially macroing up to get into the next stage, or just fully committed and try and just end it. Okay. So this guy, he does actually possesses many powerful bonuses and abilities, but he is, I believe he is giving some sort of, I don't know if it's just movement speed, but it doesn't really say what aura he gives, so maybe you guys can let me know down in the comments below. I'm still quite new to Aztec, just getting back into them, because I do like their unit roster, I like the way they look, their buildings and everything. So there we go, guys. That is the 1v1 game against Amazing Horse. Right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the first video of me featuring the Aztecs. The last time that I did was me doing a learning to play video of them, which was months and months ago when I was a lot more inexperienced. So if you want to have a look at that and you want to have a laugh, then please feel free to check it out. And that's pretty much it, guys. I really suggest picking up Chinese, the Chinese Civ. I've been putting out videos for that. And give Aztec a go, just like I am. Join me on the journey, because there are going to be other Civs that I am going to be featuring that are the unpopular Civs. You know, the underdogs, the ones that not a lot of people play, you don't see a lot of content of. I'm going to be filling that void. So I hope you guys can join me on this awesome journey. And as I say, you guys know what to do to support the channel, and also through Twitch as well, Widgie1. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and I will see you in the next one. Catch you guys later.